Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And of course, one of the biggest real stories today outside of the rapture is Jimmy Kimmel. The announcement today, he'll be back on the air as of tomorrow. Now, there's an asterisk to it because from what I read, Sinclair stations are not going to air Jimmy Kimmel live. So we're talking about, I don't know the exact number. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but anywhere between like 20 and 30 stations.
I thought it was around 39-ish, but I'd have to check. We're both in the ballpark, though, one way or the other.
We're not talking about a lion's share of the affiliates which would be carrying the show, but it's significant enough for it to make mention of. I don't know what Jimmy Kimmel is going to do. What I mean by that is we don't know as far as the internal discussions, is what the expectation is going forward, whether he's supposed to address it directly or head on and say, hey, I'm back. Tuwal and I were tossing around whether there would be some sort of an apology. I hope not, because that would defeat the whole purpose of everything that he said up until this point.
I don't imagine there would be an apology. I've gone over what he said again and again and again, and I think it's been represented in a lot of mainstream coverage.
You mean misrepresented?
Yeah, misrepresented. Sorry. Yeah. He was mainly talking about MAGA's reaction to Charlie Kirk's death, and a lot of people are trying to frame it, or have tried to, as him, mocking it somehow, mocking Kirk's death, when in fact he sent out well wishes to Kirk's family.
He did do that, and a lot of times, people want, I say all this all the time, people hear what they want to hear. People assume what people have said. Yes, Jimmy Kimmel has been laying the wood to the Trump administration from the very beginning. That's not anything new. Mm-hmm. But when they try to assume then, because of that, he said something which was really out of pocket regarding Charlie Kirk, the man, that's just not what would happen. But neither here nor there. The question is, what's going to happen now that he's back, and also back to what degree, talking about Sinclair stations, and what are the expectations of Disney going forward? I don't know how much the boycott did or did not figure into things. I don't know. I mean, I can't quantify it. Yes, they lost a lot of valuation due to subscribers canceling, so I can't push that aside. I don't know if that was what tipped it in the other direction.
Well, I read the figure was somewhere around $4 billion, and that hasn't really been updated today to my knowledge, but $4 billion will get your attention.
It'll definitely get your attention. And put it this way, from what I know about the business, I knew that Jimmy Kimmel was coming back at some point. One, because he was suspended. And if you know anything about contracts in this business, they couldn't fire him outright unless they knew something there was something that he did, which was, they could fire him for cause and could void his contract.
Yeah.
If you heard what he said, there was nothing that he said that was either indecent or obscene or something that you could be fireable for cause.
Well, Rolling Stone reported that ABC executives reviewed it and found that there was nothing out of the ordinary or inappropriate at all or out of character with his usual material, but they were responding to implied, pretty
no,
heavily.
Implied? Yeah, it was explicit.
They were responding to threats from the FCC commissioner, Brendan Carr, and President Trump. They were afraid of retaliation.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to make this distinction for people to hear. I keep hearing this misguided comparison, since it's ABC in both instances, that what happened to Roseanne Barr is just like what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. And it's not. And I hope people are paying attention. What happened with Roseanne Barr, there was an internal decision which was purely on the basis of employer-employee. Roseanne Barr made comments about Valerie Jarrett, which were reprehensible, unconscionable, racial, all of that. And ABC, unrelated to any outside pressure in 2018, Trump was president, let's be clear, decided to cut bait with Roseanne Barr. And she did not sue. Why? Because it was obvious she violated some sort of term or clause in her contract. That's why she didn't sue. She probably got some sort of settlement saying, thank you, goodbye, and good luck. But there was no lawsuit in response. That did not have anything to do with the federal government looming over ABC stations or Disney saying, if you don't do this, then we're going to do that. You know, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. That's an explicit threat. If you don't know how the FCC works, the only real mechanism that the FCC has directly is they can immediately fine someone. And usually if the fine has to do with indecency or obscenity, it's not, when you talk about the public interest, he's making that stuff up. He's literally just making it up. The FCC doesn't monitor for content which it likes or dislikes or they think is problematic. That's not a category to fine someone. And so when Brendan Carr went out there and made the explicit threat, that makes it a First Amendment issue, because then the question is whether ABC would have suspended Jimmy Kimmel at all if not for the threats of the FCC. Mm-hmm. And now that he's been brought back, it becomes even more clear that they probably would have done nothing, whether people appreciated that or not, whether the people were offended by what Jimmy Kimmel said or not. ABC/Disney probably would not have suspended him or did something public if not for Brendan Carr.
There's no question about it. Both Carr and President Trump have been very open in their statements about wanting the late night hosts who mock and criticize the president to be gone.
All of them.
It's not been subtle.
Yeah. All of them. And,
all of them.
And by name.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not when he makes it a general statement about, unlike Charlie Kirk, and I'm paraphrasing, please, so I'm not quoting him, but he said, I hate my enemies.
That was at the memorial over the weekend.
So the animus is explicit and undeniable. Specifically when he ties himself, the president, to the comments of Brendan Carr, then you can say that the federal government is targeting Jimmy Kimmel. Whether you agree with it or not, the FCC played a role in how we got here. Going forward, we'll find out tomorrow night how Jimmy Kimmel plans to handle it. If he comes out all guns blazing, making jokes about the president, making jokes about anything, I think he'll tread lightly about anything Charlie Kirk. I don't think he'll steer clear of that. But if you can tell that he's in his natural form as far as how he criticizes the administration, then you can tell what those internal negotiations were like.
Trust and believe, ask, eat, a meet, a mean. That's going to be on there. He's going after that.
Well, there's no question.
Ass at a minifin.
Ass at a minimum. That's what I think it is.
Ass at a minifin.
Yeah. I'm quite sure he'll talk about the rapture too. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We have more to talk about in regard to Jimmy Kimmel, who was announced today that he will be back on the air, Jimmy Kimmel Live, as of tomorrow. So we can kind of predict what may happen tomorrow or what may not happen. We may not even be here because of the rapture. We're on Rapture Watch. So we'll have to see.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Until we're not, we're on Rapture Watch. In the event that the rapture should happen during the show, if you don't know, there was a TikTok viral trend where people were predicting that the rapture was going to come. In fact, it started with the South African pastor who said the rapture was going to happen on September 23rd and September 24th. I don't know what the international dateline, whether that means September 23rd, South Africa. I don't know where in the day that's supposed to be. All we know it's supposed to be this week, and we're on it. And if for some reason the rapture should happen while we're on the air, you'll be the first to know.
I can't go. There's nobody who can fill in for me. We're kind of short-staffed right now.
Well, if you go, I don't think anyone really is going to care. The rapture's probably going to supersede everything else.
Well, you can't say that for sure. I'll tell you one thing. This really makes me appreciate modern technology and the internet, because in the old days, you would have had to get this information from a guy wearing a sandwich board on the corner.
Not only that, we would not even be informed of the rapture until the 11 o'clock news. We had the 5 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, and the 11 o'clock news.
Finally, the 24-hour news cycle is good for something.
For something.
And see, the 5 o'clock will tell you to tune in to 11 o'clock for the latest on the rapture.
For the latest.
Yeah.
Now you can listen to KFI and we will tell you as we're being raptured. Raptured?
Rapturized.
Ruptured.
Ruptured, yeah. Jimmy Kimmel, we were talking about last segment, and he is going to return tomorrow night. Jimmy Kimmel Live. And we were just basically throwing around what that may look like, what that may sound like. How does Disney navigate this moment? And I say Disney because Disney has been taking it in the shorts with regard to the cancellations of subscriptions. And I'm not here to say that protest doesn't matter, but I am going to say that protest with a specifically designed goal does matter. And to Mark Ronner's point last segment, when you're talking about at least a loss of $4 billion in valuation, that's not nothing. I don't know if this will stop the churn of people unsubscribing, because if Jimmy Kimmel, we're wondering if he were going to apologize. If Jimmy Kimmel were to apologize or something like that, I think that would just piss off people all over again.
Yeah.
Who did cancel their subscriptions.
Well, and now that Disney had a lot to contend with when you have celebrities that are actively attached to Disney projects also writing in and saying how this needs to be corrected. It was a lot for the company to deal with. I mean, you know, the protests are happening literally right next door at the Disney lot. Like I passed by on the weekend. I was like, oh yeah, they are out there. And it was deep.
I do have to say this. It's kind of funny to me because there was a portion of the country which was already boycotting Disney for being so woke. Okay.
Yes.
So they were already pissed off at Disney. Then you had the people who were quote unquote woke who started then boycotting Disney, and Disney's like, hey, we're getting it from both sides. It's like every return, people are boycotting us. So I don't know if Disney made the calculation that, hey, we have to do something to please somebody because this path is unsustainable. I don't know if they calculated or miscalculated the type of response which is going to come from Jimmy Kimmel being suspended. But I knew since he was suspended, he was always going to come back. And I said this publicly online and in social media and elsewhere. When they suspended him and didn't fire him outright, that said to me they didn't have the goods to fire him with cause. And they were going to have to mediate some sort of separation agreement, or they were going to bring him back. And so they brought him back.
And it's not just celebrities. How often do you see this? Disney's previous CEO, Michael Eisner, came out and just blasted Bob Iger.
Sure did.
Blasted him.
Sure did. It's like, what are you doing?
This is notable.
Yeah, that's very serious.
I'm actually surprised that Disney, the corporation, which is not a stranger to controversy, made a knee-jerk response. They could have waited a day or two.
Well, everybody was horrendously touchy last week for understandable reasons, but Disney just backed the wrong horse, made the wrong choice in the moment, caved to pressure, and they just didn't seem to understand the fundamental truth of the situation, which is we don't do that in this country. And that's not me editorializing. We literally don't do that. The First Amendment is the law of the land. It's one of the founding principles of the United States. And no president, Republican or Democrat, can just zap that because they don't like being criticized or mocked. That comes with the job. What if Biden had tried to do that with Fox News? He never said a word even close to that. And we just don't do that in this country.
Unsurprisingly, I am aware that most people don't actually know what the Constitution says. Most people have never read it. Most people don't know what the First Amendment actually says. And most people don't know how it applies within circumstances like these. And so people talk about, I love the Constitution or this amendment or that amendment. And it's like, you've actually never read it before.
It ain't a la carte. You got to take them all.
The whole thing. And people want to say, well, this is censorship. It's like, no. There's a distinction to be made between an employee internal matter. In other words, if iHeart were to fire me for something I said on the air, that's an employee related matter. And, I am using their station. They're allowing me to use their station and be able to broadcast. I don't have a constitutional right to a job. I think we all can agree with that. But this is different when you have external pressure being exerted specifically by the President of the United States himself, and also an arm of the federal government, the Federal Communications Commission. That makes it completely different.
Yeah, I've seen analysts since then saying that Kimmel could essentially own ABC in a lawsuit after this.
Oh, he could sue, and I think that's part of the reason why they brought him back so quickly to, if anything, lessen the likelihood of that. But he's back. We'll find out what he's going to say tomorrow. And of course, that's going to be must-see TV because everyone wants to see how he's going to approach his return. Is he going to act like nothing happened, or he's going to say, I'm back, biatches?
I'm glad you brought up the viewership because I guarantee you his numbers are going to be absolutely through the roof tomorrow night.
Through the roof. And this is kind of, sort of like Stephen Colbert Part 2. In the sense that you have the similarity of late night hosts backing one another, and then you're going to see them, I think, collectively have a response. Yes, it'll be Jimmy Kimmel's moment tomorrow, but Colbert is going to have a response in light of what Jimmy Kimmel is going to say coming back, as well as Seth Meyers or anyone else.
Well, this has a lot to do. There's some similarities between Kimmel's situation and Colbert's because both involved mergers and not wanting to piss off the people who would okay a merger. And the irony of this situation is that any corporation that runs a bunch of TV stations that caves into political pressure like this is proof they shouldn't be allowed to have mergers and get larger.
And this also sets the stage for the next time that it happens. And it will. There will be another time. I don't know whether it's going to be Seth Meyers. I don't know if it's going to be another incident with Stephen Colbert, who obviously has the freedom of knowing that his show is not going to be around in a year, so he can say whatever he wants.
And he has been.
And he has been. But it still remains to be seen as far as who's going to take that next step and ratchet up this fight over what can or can't be said over the air. In other words, does the FCC try to fine the ABC affiliates to take it one step further or not? Who's going to make that next step?
One byproduct of this is that we're guaranteed to see more scrutiny of media consolidation, which is never good for the consumer. Not the scrutiny, the consolidation.
Not in any industry. It didn't help with the consolidation in the music industry. It hasn't helped in the television or the film industry. It didn't help in the car industry. It has never helped when you have these big conglomerates, or it hasn't helped in social media. Yep. There's never an example of how this consolidation, which works against the whole idea of competition, has been good for the consumer. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app and on YouTube. Still no Rapture. But when we come back, we have to talk about this new trailer which dropped. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Speaking of Disney, that's next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
That's the theme to The Mandalorian, the Disney Plus TV show starring Pedro Pascal. KFI AM 640 is later with Mo Kelly, live on YouTube and the iHeartRadio app. The Mandalorian, the TV show on Disney Plus, the stream show, was a huge hit. I think it revitalized true Star Wars fans, and I would count me in that number. It had the feel of really good Star Wars. There were some episodes directed by the late Carl Weathers, Dave Filoni. And we thought if the Star Wars franchise were put in their hands, it would be in an okay place. Then they announced, after, I think, 3 seasons that they had, they were doing a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Grogu, if you don't know, it looks like a little Yoda. They called him Baby Yoda for the longest. And it was a surprise success, I think, for many people. They didn't expect it was going to be so popular. And maybe, and not to be conspiratorial, maybe they dropped the trailer for this movie to distract from what was happening elsewhere with Disney Plus and the issues with Jimmy Kimmel. That's part of the reason why we're talking about these things at the same time. I think this was an unplanned release of the trailer because the trailer was really bad. The trailer seemed incomplete. The trailer did not seem like it was ready for everyone to see. It did. Look, if that was supposed to, we're showing it right now on the YouTube channel, But if this trailer was supposed to get me excited, then it didn't do its job, and they need to go back to the drawing board, because it seemed like Star Wars for kids all over again when The Mandalorian was priding itself on not being for kids. Yes, there was a cute element in baby Grogu, but still it was serious Star Wars for serious Star Wars fans as far as the show. This trailer just looks like, I mean, for 12 to 13-year-olds.
I mean, it is a literal mishmash of scenes thrown together where you don't know what's happening. It looks like the misadventures of the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I mean, I said to myself, okay, look, no disrespect to the Skeleton crew, but this is like coming behind the Skeleton Crew. It's not coming behind the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Ewoks, all the worst of the original Star Wars, where it's like,
okay, come on.
No, I'm being very serious. It seemed like it's made for merchandising and marketing and a demographic between 8 and 14. Not anyone older than that. That is my fear, and that's why I stopped going to the Star Wars movies. This was supposed to bring me, hopefully, back into watching Star Wars movies, and it just doesn't seem like it's for me at all.
All right. I say this with love and respect. I think the two of you need cognitive exams. I saw this trailer and I thought it looked like a ton of fun. The only thing that struck a sour note for me was Grogu, the baby Yoda, saying at the end something like, "Oh yeah, baby," or something like that. That seemed out of place. But the rest, you got Sigourney Weaver. She's nerd royalty. I didn't know that she was going to be in it. It's got tons of action. You get to see the Mandalorian flying around in his jetpack, which is cool. Shooting people.
That actually wasn't Grogu that said anything.
Yeah, it was the other guy.
That was the other little character they introduced in the Mandalorian series.
Yep.
Another little character, cute little character that they're going to merchandise.
Whoever it is, it just sounded like an anachronism that seemed out of place in the Star Wars universe. That's all.
Good shot, Grogu.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Let me put it this way: Star Wars prides itself on having a big bad, a central villain, which is usually highlighted or foreshadowed in the trailer. Tell me who's the villain in this movie, Mark.
You right now.
I'm not
you're
in the movie.
You're the bad guy.
Oh, I am the bad guy, but I'm saying in the movie, look, for the people who don't know, this is set during the time after the fall of the Republic. And you have Darth Vader out there trying to snatch up everyone who is actually after the fall of the Empire. Because we see Luke, he is dispatched the Death Star, the first Death Star.
Yes.
So we have Darth Vader is still in play. We have Luke out there who's a Jedi Master. Where is the villain for this?
Listen, the Mandalorian is shooting giant robots in the crotch. You need more than that?
Actually, I do.
I mean, shooting giant robots in the crotch, to me, it reeked of a fart joke.
Yeah, it did.
It just, I'm sorry, just shoot him in the crotch. I could just hear the robot going, ow.
Unserious.
I'm just
And,
sorry,
it's nice to see Sigourney Weaver, but okay,
I love Sigourney
this
Weaver.
ain't Alien.
I love Sigourney Weaver, but not stopping Grogu from pulling something across the table with force power.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Laura Dern and Vice Admiral evening gown in The Last Jedi.
I'm not going to defend that. Those Abrams movies were trash, but
No, that was Rian Johnson. Let's get it right.
but wasn't he the producer of all of them?
I don't know if
No.
he produced the second one.
No.
I didn't
Just
like
the
any
first
of
and third
them.
one.
I didn't like any of them. But the one thing we agree on is that the Mandalorian show is one of the best Star Wars things of all time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It honestly got taken over by Andor, in my opinion. Andor is phenomenal
It's
as
right
far
up
as
there, for
Star
sure.
Wars goes.
I would choose.
I can't say a negative
I
thing
would
about
choose
it.
Mandalorian because it had more of the Star Wars-esque action that we're all accustomed to and associate with Star Wars. Andor is much more cerebral. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's a different type of good.
A whole different vibe. The Mandalorian was essentially a space spaghetti western, and Andor was a political thriller.
Yes.
I think
a good way
maybe that's why I loved Andor so much, because Andor was like, oh my God, this is what I've always wanted from Star Wars. But I feel you. When of the two, I'm an Andor fan. But Mandalorian, and I think because the way the Andor ended, and when you think about the way the Mandalorian ended, it ended with Mando and Grogu sitting on a farm chilling. I remember we all griped about that, like, oh, come on, man, not chilling and going out on the farm. No.
Yeah, just looking at them on the backside. It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Staring out into the sunset. That was kind of like So looking at this, I'm like, oh, so you picked up from the porch scene, huh?
It just feels like it's a buddy cop movie, like Turner and Hooch, or Tango and Cash.
Turner and Hooch
don't play the Turner and Hooch card.
But
That's just rude.
It just seemed like it's a buddy cop movie where they, to Twalla's point, the misadventures, and they do this and they do a little bit of that, and it's like, no, I need some like Darth Vader, some Inquisitors, some bad dudes out there who are looking for Force sensitive beings as Star Wars lore during that time period.
Now, Mark, you can't tell me that you would not appreciate much more a film about the Mandalorian defending Grogu from all sides with an onslaught of Inquisitors or Vader, or just them being on the run from individuals trying to capture Grogu, and it just being an all-out just action, I don't know, extravaganza.
I think a great film would be The Mandalorian defending Grogu from a couple guys who hate fun.
Oh,
And I mean this. Hey,
damn it.
Hey, Mark, I mean this very respectfully.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass, okay? Just
Well, you're all ass.
kiss
Where
my
would I
ass.
start?
Both cheeks, right and left.
Jesus.
Derecho,
Can you use a
izquierdo.
Sharpie?
I didn't say right on it. I say kiss it.
No, I mean you, for just to delineate
Mark,
which part
Mark,
is ass.
Mark, you have to find the acetaminophen.
Maybe the medications will help.
Acetaminophen.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app and on YouTube. Let's find out what's happening right now with George Norton, Coast to Coast AM. What's coming up, George?
We're talking about biblical prophecy, Mo, and then later on, dreams and nightmares on Coast to Coast.
I suspect you'll be talking about the rapture, which is supposed to be coming up in about 12 hours or so.
You got that right.
Have a great show, George.
Thanks, buddy.
And yeah, we've been talking about it here as well, because I guess it's supposed to start any time now in South Africa. It's September 23rd, so it could be any minute. It could be like right now. It could be any time. You just never know.
I wonder if South Africa's still here.
We
I gotta
don't
look this
know.
up.
You know, it's almost like the movie War Games. We have a phone line open to find out if the missile hit, and you're trying to find out whether it's still there. Someone needs to call South Africa. Hey, Sam, can you get someone on the phone? Like, call Elon Musk and say if he could call some of his relatives or something.
I will call South Africa right now.
Okay, I appreciate that. Mark, do you know anybody in South Africa we can call?
I'm afraid my list of South African contacts is kind of sparse.
Tuala, anybody? I don't know anybody in South
Ooh,
Africa.
I don't know anyone. I'm just going on Facebook right now, and I'm just looking up South Africa to see if it's actually there, if there's been a mass exodus by way of the rapture.
Well, while you're doing that, you got to let people know it's Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort, and KFI AM 640 wants to give you a chance to experience the frightful fun plus the added excitement of the Disneyland Resort 70th celebration. A Happiest Halloween has brought spooky thrills and chills to both Disney California Adventure Park and Disneyland Park. Now through October 31st, offering subject to restrictions and change without notice. But most importantly, keep listening for your chance to win a 4-pack of 1-day, 1-park tickets to Disneyland Park or Disneyland California Adventure Park from KFI AM 640 and Later with Mo Kelly. Listen specifically to Later with Mo Kelly for your chance to win a 4-pack of 1-day, 1-park tickets. I think, are we giving those away this week, Tuala? We're giving away so much stuff this week.
So much stuff. I don't know if it's this week. They just got to keep listening.
Well, I do know this week we're going to be giving away 2 pairs of tickets to see UB40 this Sunday at the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts. We are giving away another 2 pairs of tickets to see Get the Lead Out, the American Led Zeppelin tribute band, who will be performing this Saturday at 8 p.m. at the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts. We are giving away a pair of tickets, at least, maybe more, to see gospel artist Corey Henry at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood this Sunday at 7 p.m. So much stuff that we're going to be giving away, and of course that has nothing to do with the Disneyland 4-pack that we'll be giving away sometime soon. It could be now, it could be maybe tomorrow, but again, that's assuming we're still here. We will be on Rapture Watch. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay right with you for the next 30 seconds. And if the rapture should happen in the next 30 seconds, we'll be here to give it to you.
Stay with me till midnight. It's your duty.
Do you want me to hold your hand?
I don't want you touching me, but still stay till midnight.
Well, I thought you might get scared. You might get lonely. You know, you want to meet the end with someone holding your hand.
Well, I'm always scared. That doesn't mean I want you touching me. UB40, though, that's cool. Except aren't they more like UB80 now?
Oh, damn.
He waited all night for that joke. All night long.
No. That one
Wow.
that one wasn't in the pocket.
Mark, let the rapture happen now.
Well, there's no need to be mean.
Oh, that was just, Mark, you dumb.
Everybody ages. They're
Mark, you're better than that.
Maybe I'm not, Tuala.
Right. And it's okay to embrace it. I say it all the time. It's like, I'm not better than that. There's nothing worse than a condescending listener who says, oh, Mo, you're better than that. No, I'm not. I really am not. I like juvenile humor. I like real immature jokes. I just do.
Dad jokes. Was that like a dad joke?
No, it just was an unfunny one.
No, I mean, it was
a granddad joke.
It was super punny. Super punny.
Well, happy pre-rapture, everyone. Hopefully we will be, well, if the rapture does come, I don't want to see any of you. I just hope I'm out of here because I should be first in line.
I don't know if I'm in line. How do I check?
Oh, you won't know. They'll
there a
call your
rapture?
number or not.
Okay.
You know.
Are you feeling light? In the loafers?
No. That's just high. That means he's high.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're doing this all by height.
So the tallest go first?
Yeah,
or the shortest
but
go
wouldn't
first?
it be women and children first?
Not necessarily.
And then the elderly?
This isn't the Titanic, Tuala.
Dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.